Welcome to Mid-City Mud. Before we walk through the cleaning process, I'd like to explain why this video exists and why it matters. Our 24-hour membership studio works because it's built on trust, respect, and shared responsibility. Since the space is open around the clock, we don't have a set opening or any closing hours where someone resets everything. Every member plays an important role in keeping the studio clean, safe, and enjoyable for everybody. We have two cleaning assistants, Angelica and Elizabeth, and they do amazing work. But their job is deep cleaning, not everyday cleaning. Daily cleanup and organization fall on all of us as members. We're not here to lecture anybody. This is simply how a shared creative space functions. Everyone must leave the studio cleaner than they found it. It's not a suggestion, it's part of what makes membership possible. Most of our community does this really well, but when a few people leave behind messes, it affects everyone, especially those who work hard to keep the space beautiful. It also disrespects our cleaning staff and the members who take pride in this space. If someone repeatedly ignores these expectations, they won't be able to continue their membership. That's not meant to be harsh, it's simply the only way to protect the experience for the people who do care. To make everything clear and consistent, Cole has recorded a full cleaning walkthrough. He'll show every step so everyone knows exactly what clean looks like at Mid-City Mud. Let's get started. Cleaning the hand building table. First, start by scraping off any dry chunks of clay from the hand building table. Use your hand or a small brush to gather every single piece, no matter how small. These dry bits should always be thrown straight into the trash, never left on the table or brushed onto the floor. Next, sponging the table. Take a large wet sponge and thoroughly wipe down the entire surface. Go in overlapping passes so you don't miss any spots. Your goal is to return the table to a completely clean, smooth, and clay-free surface for the next person. Next, sweeping the floor. After the table is clean, sweep the floor around the hand building table and the surrounding wheels. Clay dust and dry chunks collect quickly, and leaving them creates safety hazards and unnecessary mess. Sweep everything into the dustpan and throw it away. Next, wet mopping the floor. Once the floor is swept, take the wet sweeper mop and clean the entire area again. Get under the table, around the wheels, behind the legs, on the pedals, everywhere. This step removes the fine clay that sweeping alone can't pick up. Finishing on the wheel. Moving to the wheel, after removing your piece and bat, begin by separating the splash pans. Use a large sponge to pull any big clay chunks into your throwing bucket. Nothing should be left stuck to the splash pans. Cleaning the wheel. Now take your sponge and clean the wheel head, the tray, the sides, the entire surface of the wheel. When you're done, it should look as close to brand new as possible. No streaks, no clay film, and no residue. Washing the splash pans. Bring the splash pans to the sink and wash them thoroughly. Remove every bit of clay. Any larger chunks should always go into the slip bucket, not down the sink. Emptying the throwing bucket. Pour out the water from your throwing bucket, but keep all of the large clay pieces inside. Never pour chunks down the sink. Scrape any remaining chunks from the bottom of your throwing bucket into the slip bucket. This prevents buildup and protects the plumbing. Return to the sink and fully clean the inside and outside of the bucket. Remove all residue so it is completely clean for the next use. Place the clean bucket on the drying rack upside down so it dries properly. Check for any stubborn clay or wax spots stuck to the floor. Use a metal rib to gently scrape them up. At the glazing station, use that same metal rib to scrape up any dried wax strips or clay chunks from the shelves. These should always go into the trash. Next, cleaning the bat. Now clean your bat thoroughly. Remove all clay, front, back, and edges. Make sure it is completely clean because bats with leftover clay will grow mold and warp over time. Place the clean bat onto the drying rack with space between each bat. Never stack them directly together. Trapped moisture leads to mold and ruined equipment. At the glazing station, wipe down the wooden countertop, wipe down any glaze drips from the counter, the bucket tops, and the test tiles. Do the same with the wheels and any areas around that may have picked up some clay or glaze. Then to clean the wear boards, scrape any clay from the wooden wear boards using your rib. These boards must stay clean so they don't warp or absorb moisture improperly. After scraping, use a sponge to gently wipe them down, removing any fine residue without oversaturating the wood. Place the boards on the drying rack with airflow in between them, just like the bats. Now thoroughly sponge off the slab mats. Remove all clay so that the next person has a clean, even work surface. At the glaze tracking station, where work gets photographed and logged into kiln fire, wipe down all surfaces. The area must remain clean for accurate tracking and photo documentation. Use a large sponge to clean the entire wedging table. Remove all clay so that the surface stays usable. Before you finish, double check the floors. Look for any remaining wet clay, dry chunks, or dust, and pick up anything you find. At the pegboard, put all tools back in their designated spots. Wire tools should be laid neatly, never clumped together, and no tool should be caked in clay. Tools must always be returned clean. Now thoroughly clean the sink area. Use the sprayer to wash away clay, then use a sponge to clean the top, sides, and inside of the sink. This keeps the water flow clean and prevents major plumbing issues. Lastly, remove all dry slabs, bats, and wear boards from the drying rack and return them to their proper storage areas. This ensures that the racks are open for wet items that truly need the space.